Hello, guys. Hello, and welcome to my vlog. My name is Jemima Angulu, and I'm a creative. I run a dance studio. I'm an entrepreneur, a choreographer, and I love to work with the youth, women, and dancers. For the past decade and more, I have dealt with working with people to help them lose weight, gain confidence, creative consultancy. I've also created a couple of productions. I love to create with dance and movement, so that's always my first love. But for the past 12 years, I've also been actively an entrepreneur, and that has enabled me to learn a lot of lessons. You know, entrepreneurship is a gift that just keeps on giving. You learn so many things. You learn to do things from scratch. You learn how to work with people, how to communicate effectively. You also learn that, business is personal, and you cannot separate your personal or your person from your business, and you have to work on yourself as you work on your business. You have to add value to yourself and also your community. And I'm still learning, but I'm glad that I'm here to share with you today. Today I'm going to be talking about three things to improve on if you want to be effective in the workplace or with any team that you may be working with. Now, I'm saying it from my perspective as a leader in my establishment, but I'm also saying it from my own personal experiences following others. And I think that these are the things that really matter, that make a difference. They've made a difference the moment I realized these things in several ways. So let's start with number one. One is definitely your mindset. I know we've heard that a lot, but I want to add a bit to that. Now, we all grow up from with different experiences, and those experiences kind of give us a point of view, and it's like we see everything through that lens, through that point of view. And sometimes when we interact with people, we don't get the best from them because we're seeing it in a certain way, and that affects also the things that we benefit. So perspective comes from your mind, and that perspective is usually not based on one incident. It's usually based from a series of experiences you've had growing up. And this can be to your advantage or your disadvantage. So if you find out that you grew up in a place that probably did not have healthy values, or came from a place of lack, every time you do not have enough, or you think that everyone is out to get you, little things like that can actually affect you in the workplace, because simple things that are done even for your benefit could seem like they're working against you. So it's always important for you to check your mind, make sure it's always positive, make sure you see the best in people. I had to struggle with seeing the best in people sometimes, because I just wondered why people behave the way they did. But after a while, I realized that there was also part of me in that, and I had to start making conscious decisions to change how I see people. Even if they were not at their best, I needed to see the best in them. And that's what matters, because when we see the best in things, the best in people, even when there are challenges, even when there are mistakes, somehow the best comes back to us. Okay, it might not be instantly, but it does come back to us. And so I implore you to also practice doing these things. Change your mindset. Make sure that you're not working from a perspective of lack. Make sure that you are working from a perspective of abundance, that you can do more, you can be more. And yes, every opportunity is an opportunity to be better, to be creative, and you don't have to get it right. So sometimes you also have to remind yourself not to be defensive. Sometimes when you are wrong, you're wrong. It's okay to say, you know what, I messed up. Ooh, I didn't know that. And once you're able to admit that to yourself, then you will be able to even learn and take much more in. So take away being defensive from your mind as well. Be open to new experiences. And guess what? Every time you learn something new, you're going to suck at it. You're not necessarily going to be the best at it. So know that even as an expert, you can always be a beginner at something else. And so don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to say I'm sorry. Don't be afraid to mess up. And when you do mess up, get up quickly and know that it's not you, but it's you taking that opportunity to learn. It's not about that is who you are. All right. So I'm going to move quickly to my next point, which is communication. Now, this for me is a huge deal. Now, communication is not just about speaking good English, or it's not about speaking a language well. It's not just about telling somebody something. Yes, it's listening, but it's even much more about listening. It's much more than listening, rather. What I always would like to tell people, because I work with a lot of young people, and we found out that I find out that communication is such a huge deal. Communication varies from person to person. The way you communicate with one person may be different from the way you communicate with another person. Now, we're talking about communication in different aspects. Communication also includes presentation. How do you present yourself? Both on paper, both on social media, both on Telegram, email, in person, whatever it is, in whatever way. Who are you communicating with is the first question you need to ask. Why am I communicating with this? Are you in a personal relationship with this person? Do you work for the person? Are you doing business with this person? And you have to ask yourself all those kind of questions. You also have to ask, how do I want to be perceived? Do I want to be perceived as a professional? Do I want to be perceived as a friend? Do I want to be perceived? All of that actually matters. And then, of course, when it comes to professional terms, you also have to consider clarity. You have to consider going straight to your point. You have to consider how busy this person might be and what the person might just need to get so that they are able to read through everything. Sometimes people are tired and they don't want to go through so much just to get the points. Sometimes telling stories are never the place to go to, especially when you're dealing with a professional. If it's a company you're writing, you also want to make sure that your diction and your writing is clear. All those things matter. And guess what? Nobody was born perfect. So some of these things you would need to learn. Read a little bit more, see how people send emails. And it doesn't you don't have to go that far. I always ask people, when you get bulk SMSs from companies, how do they sound like? How do you read them? When you get professional emails, even if it's from the bank, how do they look like? What's the body? And sometimes these things are updated every year. So you want to also just take a look at, standards. Google a little bit if you don't want to read a book, and you'll find some things out there. But communication is very important, and especially between generations. Now that we have from millennials, Gen Z, and I hear that there's a new one now. I'm not too sure what the term is. There's several things that matter to them. And I think I'll also use this opportunity to talk about the older generation, It's difficult for us sometimes to relate to Gen Z and the new ones, but in truth, they are taking the future in their hands. And whether we like it or not, we don't have to throw professional terms out the window, but I think it's also important to begin to know how to relate with them, and that way we'll be able to connect with them more. And of course, the younger generation is also very important, especially when you're dealing with someone from a different generation, to connect to what matters to them. That way, you can do more with people. In truth, when you are able to understand and communicate more with people, you can do so much more. Communication is such a great tool to accomplish so much. So if you're looking to be more, do more, and become more, you want to be able to get the handle of this. I'm learning, I'm going to keep on learning, and I'm just glad that, there's so many tools out there to help us learn to communicate more effectively. So I'm going to move to my final point, and it is contribution. When you work with people, when you work with a team, even if it's not work per se, even if it's friendship, there's always an aspect of contribution. When you have friends, you want to know that your friends bring something to the table. It doesn't have to be financial, but that they add value to you, that you can have a great time with them, but that they also challenge you to be better, that they have your back, that they are able to rely on you, that you are intelligent enough to help them through solving some of their problems. And that is kind of how it is for every relationship, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's friendship, like I've just mentioned, or whether it's, in church. Everyone is more appreciative when you are a contributor. We're all made to give. We're made to give as much as we're made to receive. And you want to make sure that you are doing that. So reciprocity is a very important thing. Most of us, we go into the workplace thinking about, how much am I going to make and what am I going to get? This brand is good for me. This person has, this company is going to give me this, going to give me that. And as much as you're thinking about that, that is very important. You also want to be thinking, what am I going to give to this company? What am I going to give to this relationship? What am I going to give to this friendship? And am I matching up? Is my energy matching up to the values or the energy of this friendship, of this company, of this team? Am I doing that? And every time you want to ask that question, because once their giving is here and yours is here, you will not be able, your communication will always be at this level as well. It means that you will be the person that will be seen as not just a collector, but a case. No one wants to be a charity case. Now, we know that sometimes you give to people that can't give back, and that's fine. But that's charity. That's humanity, yes. But when it comes to the kind of relationship, you also want to be able to be valued at a certain level. You really want to be a giver. You want to make sure that your giving matches the energy. So of course, we're not just talking about giving money. For instance, if you're at work, you're not giving money to your boss or your teammates. You are helping make money, all right? So what are the other things that you could help, that you could contribute with? And the value of that thing matters. Sometimes, maybe your contribution could be consistency. And that's a good thing, but we want to go a little bit further. What's the quality of that contribution? And I think that matters. People forget that a lot. You hear scenarios of but I'm the only one that that shouldn't come when it comes to a person of high values. If that's who you are, that shouldn't come into play. You want to be that person really giving, if it was supposed to be measured maybe financially or in other ways, you want to be that person bringing the bacon, bringing the top notch, bringing the quality clients, bringing the quality banks, bringing the quality conversations, bringing the quality ideas. And I want to talk a little bit about ideas. You know, a lot of people think that their ideas are not appreciated, but you know, if you really think about it, what are the ideas and can you execute them? Because an idea is only as good as its execution. So don't just bring up an idea, but also bring up a plan. Bring up steps in which that idea could be executed, and let it be something that you probably have researched a little bit. So ideas are not just thinking, oh, let's do this, let's do that. You know, it's fun when you have that kind of blank page. An idea is something you brood over a little bit, that you think about the possibilities and you think about the challenges that may come with that idea, and then you think about, you know, the benefits and who comes into play, and you are able to present it. When you're able to present your ideas in that manner, then you become a true contributor. Don't forget, I didn't say give money. I said become a contributor. Your contribution matters. Your level of contribution matters. Now, everybody is valuable. Everybody can contribute. But what is your level of contribution? And that's what we're talking about today. So I hope that my points were good, enough for you to learn something to take home. And today I'm sitting right here in my home, and I just thought to chat a little bit with you. I hope it was helpful, and I cannot wait to see you again. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and my next video will be about dance, so you don't want to miss that. Come back again. I'll see you soon.